So, next up, Ellen McKenna. During her working life, Ellen McKenna became a jack of many trades, ranging from waitress to pathology lab technician, from office worker to pony track guide, with sundry others in between. Now long retired, she continues to enjoy the opportunities life throws at her. After all, you never know what's around the corner. And as the title of her story says, the future beckons. Welcome, Ellen.
The future beckons. Ever since she had heard the old song on the radio, she hadn't been able to get the words out of her head. To her, they summed up her life and were now her own personal earworm. As she climbed off her bicycle outside the uninviting facade of the warehouse, they reverberated round her head, emphasising the mundanity of her Monday to Friday existence. The early morning rain added to her sense of despondency as she fumbled with the cycle lock. Sophie knew that at age 20 she was luckier than a lot of her friends. She had a job, even if it was mind-numbingly boring, and a roof over her head. Her parents' roof, admittedly, but still a roof. Her working days were spent dressed in overalls and a hairnet, lifting packages from shelves and placing them onto a conveyor belt, as directed by the overhead computer. Within these walls, she considered herself to be a human robot. There was little contact with fellow workers, unless their paths crossed in the canteen during the staggered lunch breaks. But, she consoled herself as she cycled home after her shift, the job was simply a means to an end. Her long-suffering parents had agreed to provide the majority of the funding needed to get her into the School of Performing Arts, provided she put in the rest. Much to her delight, and her parents' surprise, she had been accepted as a mature student, which was why she was now saving every penny and working 2 jobs. Sophie lived for the weekends, when she emerged from her overalls like a butterfly from a chrysalis. On Friday nights, as she felt the boredom of the week slough off her in the shower, she imagined it must be how a snake would feel on revealing its new skin. After applying her makeup, she carefully packed her costume and set out for the Black Cat Club, where she worked as a burlesque dancer. This is where I belong, she thought, standing in the wings, nervous but confident, waiting to make her entrance. It was a small stage in a small club, but she was doing what she had dreamed of since starting dancing class as a precocious 3-year-old. She was performing. As she waited for her introduction, she quickly made last-minute adjustments to her bustier, then sashayed out onto the stage and into the spotlight, revelling in the cheers and applause that greeted her. Weekends were her whiskey days, and she enjoyed them to the full. The anticipation of the excitement and fulfilment they gave her was what got her through the drudgery of the week. Sophie changed her routine and accompanying music monthly, happily putting in hours of practice in her bedroom. The last thing she wanted was the customers getting bored, which could lead to her being shown the door. As she performed her well-rehearsed and slick routine, she lost herself in the rhythm of the music and allowed her thoughts to drift. Who knew what the future held? But she felt the hypnotic pull of the West End. It was beckoning her. She was convinced that it would be her name up in lights in the not-too-distant future. then there would be no more buttermilk for her. Thank you.